2020, a year of many unforeseen challenges, where all had to adjust to a new reality. And despite it all, Got Kush TV was and still is here to serve you. And what a year it's been. We began the repatriation journey with our new show, Voyage to Motherland. We dropped the knowledge as you took your seats in the Kush Community and joined us to hold the meds with the Uncle. Got Kush TV invited you to get involved in controversial conversation and enter Decipher. And when the world went into lockdown, we kept you connected with the Quarantine Convos. We kept our finger on the pulse of the community with coverage of the Reparations Rebellion and the Black Pound Day all day. Not to mention more wordsmith and a slew of new music video releases for your viewing pleasure and the official launch of the Got Kush TV website. We also brought you events including Women of Power and of course Black Trinity. Now in 2021, Got Kush TV continuing to level up the thing. First up, we are pleased to inform you that gotkushtv.com is open to exclusive membership. Sign up to any of our membership tiers and you will gain access to playbacks from all our events and an ever-growing list of exclusive original content, including interviews, documentaries, and shows such as Kush Community. To become an official member of gotkushtv.com, simply hit the membership tab. Stay tuned for continued updates. Then there's the new shows. Look out for more Decipher, Wordsmith, Hold the Meds with the Art Doctor, and weekly episodes of Quarantine Convos focused on health, wellness, education, and inspiration for our community. As always, the Got Kush TV film team is available for hire to cover all your events, adverts, infomercials, and all filming needs. Visit us at gotkushtv.com for hire inquiries and more information. Stand by all Black businesses through our website, social media, and show content. We have monumental advertising, sponsorship, and network opportunities catering specially for you. Check out the advertising page on gotkushtv.com for more information. Got Kush TV is in full flight to join us for the ride. There's 4 things you can do. Subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell to make sure you don't miss a release. Join us on all social media and hit up gotkushtv.com to subscribe to our mailing list and sign up to become a Got Kush TV member for exclusive opportunities in the near future. Let us know you are feeling our content by hitting that ever so important button of approval. Comment. We want to hear your feedback on everything we are putting out. So make sure your presence is felt in the comment section. Share. Spread the word by hitting that share button and exposing your circle to the magnificence that is Got Kush TV. We are looking forward to building with you throughout 2021 and servicing you with high quality Black media production. Got Kush TV. Beyond discussion, beyond debate, we put the power in Black media. Black Trinity, Got Kush TV's exclusive pre-Kwanzaa showcase is now available for you to watch absolutely free. In conjunction with Ghana, the On the Return series, we have brought the Afrikan Diaspora experience directly to you. To watch this monumental event absolutely free, simply register for membership at gotkushtv.com and you will receive access to Black Trinity as well as more exclusive content, including Reggie Rockstone, Yusufu Jallo, VVN, Malachi Selassie, Daddy Makes Dough, Tods, King Wiz, Tubada, Ras Ashiba, Mama Sia, Brother Leader Bandaka, Israel, Sister Moots, Carla Marie, Yemaya Sankofa, Goldflow, and a special Voyage to Motherland panel discussion. All this and more, hosted by Nat Nye and Stella B. Register now at gotkushtv.com.
The Women of Power Summit, a monumental event dedicated to profiling the work of African women around the world, past, present and future, featuring Affiong El Affiong, Ronoku Rashidi, The Goddess Needs Night, Tony Warner, Ari Ma'at and Celine Ekigwe. To watch the Women of Power Summit, simply register at gotkushtv.com for this and even more exclusive content. Got Kush TV, we put the power in Black media.
Should more African nations join the Year of Water?
I would say every descendant of Africa should go home.
But the same things are happening. The tax money is still coming back to Europe. how do we contribute to the decolonization of Africa?
So if Africa is our focus, are we then neglecting the Caribbean?
The year returned so successful, 1.9 billion. 1.9 billion. And all of a sudden, the whole world shut down.
Making sure that people on the continent see the real picture of how we live here.
Welcome from Ghana, Accra.
Enter the cipher.
Quarantine Convos. Enjoy weekly discussions with people from around the world, assisting us in dealing with this normal, mentally, spiritually, and physically. We feature nutritionists, psychologists, therapists, personal trainers, home educators, legal experts, and more, bringing you all the information and inspiration you need. Check out Quarantine Convos every Thursday from 7 p.m, live on Got Kush TV.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Respect to all the kings and queens in the place to be. You're in tune to Got Kush TV, and it is Thursday, the 29th of April. And yes, it's Quarantine Convos. We are back in the building. You done know, kings and queens. Oh, my days with they are. Yeah, looking forward to this show. You know, very, very much looking forward to this show. It is going to be levels, yeah, levels upon levels upon levels upon levels upon levels, yeah. So do stay tuned, yeah, as we get into the thing. Encouraging you to like up the thing, yeah, like up the video and share it far and wide, yeah. Like up the video and share it far and wide. Yes, indeed, kings and queens, you don't want people to miss this one. We're going to get into some very, very practical work that is going on in the sphere of Pan-Africanism, of Garveyism, you know what I'm saying, of, you know, developing indigenous family group, community and nation building structures. It's going to be levels. So I encourage you, yeah, to, you know what I'm saying, not just like the video, but share it with a friend, yeah. Share it with a friend. You done know. Bigging up the young Sierra Leonean, yeah, bigging up the young Sierra Leonean in the building. Just let me know if I'm sounding nice, yeah. Let me know if my voice is coming true, you know what I'm saying, like Barry White and Teddy Pendergrass, you know what I mean? Cause I want to make sure the mic sound good, you know what I mean? Because I can't hear myself, kings and queens. So let's just give me a sound check. Let people know, say, you know what I'm saying? You know, you said it sound good and all these things. All right, family. Yeah. So we're there. As you can see, my co-host, Sister Mutt, is not here today. She's otherwise engaged. So we send her love, you know what I'm saying, for her endeavors and her work wherever she is, kings and queens. And we trust that she'll be dutifully back here with us next week. All right. So do stay tuned. You'll be hearing from Sister Mutt again soon. Yeah. Enough things are going our world, you know what I'm saying? And you know, we just want to give thanks, yeah, for the beautiful homegoing of brother DMX, you know what I'm saying, you know, which took place over 2 days, a fabulous memorial and a very touching and moving funeral at that. So you know what I'm saying, we know enough people was tuned into that energy, that vibration. Want to say rest in peace, yeah, to the one and only Black Rob, you know what I'm saying. And also Shock G. It's been a difficult couple month really for those of us who are hip hop cultural enthusiasts and participants. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And so we appreciate that a lot of people are in mourning right about now, and so we just want to send love and energy to their spirits and their vibrations and all these things. Many things have happened in the week, family, and I'm not gonna go into all of them, but I do want to highlight one, and it is the fact that our brother, Africans in the UK stand up, our brother Daniel Kaluuya won the Oscar for portraying our revolutionary ancestor, Brother Fred Hampton. Congratulations to the brother. He did very well in his portrayal. He did a very good job, and he is an excellent actor. Whilst everybody's celebrating, personally, I don't really give much credence to the Oscars, but I do. It is particularly important when we see our revolutionary ancestors being portrayed on screen. And we had a conversation about this with our brother Jared Ball a few weeks ago on the film Judas and the Black Messiah. And bearing in mind, the first thing to take note of is the fact that brother Daniel Kaluuya won the Oscar for Best Supporting Act, in a film that is about, or said to be about, Fred Hampton, the character that he played. So when you see that he won the film, for Best Supporting Act, you just know, that the film is not really about him. It's not really about Fred Hampton. All right. And so if you want more on that, do check out that conversation that we had with brother Jared Ball, because we have to be conscious of how our ancestors and our revolutionary liberation movements are being portrayed by the corporate mainstream in this time. And there's an article that's been released, and I'm not going to go into it, but I'm going to flag it up for you just so you can see it and read maybe the first paragraph that gives expression to why this is the case. Then we're going to get into our guest who's dutifully waiting in the wings. So do stay tuned, kings and queens. It's going down. It's going down. All right, so let me just share something with you very quickly, and then we'll get into the main topic. But it's very important that we pay attention to certain things, and it would be disrespectful and neglectful of us, to just celebrate brother Daniel for winning the award, for this particular role without paying attention to the continuation of the movement, that was being portrayed in that film, and how the American establishment is relating to that movement in real life, whilst the American film industry is making a lot of money portraying that movement, on screen. All right. So article on a website called The New Republic is being shared a lot today. And it's entitled "The Black Panther Party Has Never Been More Popular, but Actual Black Panthers Have Been Forgotten." While the Panthers have become a staple of pop culture, veteran members of the group remain invisible. Now, bear this in mind. On October the 7th, 2020, Jalil Mutakim exited the Sullivan Correctional Facility in upstate New York, a free man, a member of the Black Panther Party and its more militant clandestine offshoot, the Black Liberation Army. Mutakim was 19 years old at the time of his 1971 arrest, which was followed by his conviction 3 years later for the murder of two NYPD officers, Waverly Jones and Joseph Pig. I can't remember how to pronounce that name, but don't worry about it. After nearly a half a century behind bars and over a dozen parole requests, Mutakim's parole was approved last September, 1 month before his 69th birthday. And so I'm flagging that up. Please read the article, because it goes into some detail about the numbers, of Black Panthers who are on death row or have been incarcerated remain political prisoners from the 1960s and 70s up until now. We can also add to that the fact that people such as Assata Shakur remain on the FBI's most wanted terrorist list, and they're still looking for her. You know what I'm saying? We speak about the fact that Mumia Abu Jamal is still in prison and is being subjected to medical neglect while being incarcerated, and there are a number of political prisoners, kings and queens. What's it called? We have to mention Baba Matulu Shakur, who is supposed to have been released about 2 or 3 years ago now, and still has not been released. And shout out to Matulu Shakur and others like Baba Sekou Odinga, who were responsible for breaking Mama Assata Shakur out of the jail. And so maybe there's a lesson there, kings and queens. But the reality is, that we cannot facilitate a reality and to celebrate the Oscar of Daniel Kaluuya, while the brothers and sisters who were responsible for creating the legacy that is being depicted in the film are still subject to oppression and behind bars as political prisoners. So free all political prisoners. And I just wanted to put that reality check on our celebrations right about now, and I hope everybody appreciates why that is necessary. Okay, kings and queens, as we step forward into our main show for this evening, our guest, and I'm going to follow in the footsteps of my good sister Mut, and bring a proverb, a proverb to open our proceedings today. In fact, I'm going to give you a proverb and a quotation. The proverb, and I'm forgetting the name of the elder who said this, but he's an elder in our world Pan-African community, and he makes the statement that there is no culture without agriculture. There is no culture without agriculture. It's an interesting statement. I'm going to leave that there. The reason why that proverb is being used, that saying is being used, will become clear as we get into the conversation. But for our quotation, our reading, I want to consult the good book, Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, because we're going to be engaging in a Garveyite conversation today, family, as we connect with our brothers and sisters in Sierra Leone. And taken from the Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he says, "It is hoped that when the time comes for American and West Indian Negroes to settle in Africa, they will realize their responsibility and their duty. It will not be to go to Africa for the purpose of exercising an overlordship over the natives, but it shall be the purpose of the Universal Negro Improvement Association to have established in Africa that brotherly cooperation which will make the interests of the African native and the American and West Indian Negro one and the same. That is to say, we shall enter into a common partnership to build up Africa in the interest of our race." And with that, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, let me introduce you to our good brother, Chief Foday Mansaray, of the Gullah, Leone, and also the Black Star Action Network International. We're gonna bring him through now, kings and queens. We're gonna bring him through now. Greetings, Chief Foday. How are you, my brother?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed. How you doing, Shakara?
I can't complain, my brother. Good to see you. And you know what? When I come to Sierra Leone, you might have to give me a burrows of that gums there. The gums look nice, King. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
You look sharp.
This is called country cloth. This is the traditional cloth of the country. The Mende make it. Well, everybody makes it, but the Mende really make it. This is like a chief's clothing. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
In Burkina Faso, they call it Sankara cloth, because so you know Sankara required that all of his civil servants wear a traditional woven garment, and so he used to visit the civil servants to make sure that they were wearing it certain times. So they call it Sankara cloth. You know what I mean? So give thanks. Right, brother. Thank you for joining us. Are we going to see the Empress this evening?
Hopefully. Right now, I'm waiting for her to arrive. we had two of our people get their citizenship today in Sierra Leone, along with a larger group. There's a large group that just got citizenship conferred today.
All right.
The news isn't even out yet. You know, they're just returning it. So
well, it is out now, bro. So I was gonna say it's out now because you're on Kush TV and you're sharing it. So it's hot off the press.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So
No
we give
doubt,
tag.
No
Go
doubt.
ahead.
So I believe it might be about 40 to 50 people, man, this time around that got their citizenship. In January, it was like 22, 23. So Sierra Leone has literally opened up the gateway and made a clear policy for how those who have at least the African ancestry DNA test results are able to pursue citizenship. And our company, the Gullah Redemption Mission Sierra Leone, has been able to facilitate our first two, one brother, one sister, both Mende descendants. Over the last few days, man, we've been all over, moving around, checking out the beaches, checking out the villages. We've just been vibing. So, just congratulations to everybody out there who did obtain their citizenship here. It's very important. I mean, much more than citizenship is needed, but it's like the greatest gesture of being re-included. It's like, just come on home and let's see how we can work. And Sierra Leone right now is really exhibiting that spirit of openness.
Yes, sir.
And at least to those who have a direct ancestry. And I think that over time, we have to really challenge it to be more of a Pan-African policy.
Yes,
because
sir.
I think that with this first group coming in, that they're going to do so much positive in the country, that's going to make sense to just open it up, especially with Sierra Leone being one of the countries that has a Negro clause, meaning that there was already a concept that as long as you're a Negro, then you could pursue your citizenship here. After 5 years of residing here, you can pursue your nationalization here. And it's been like that ever since independence, which was just celebrated. They say the 60th independence. We're Garveyites, so we have a different political perspective. I still don't believe any part of Africa is independent at this point. I think we're very much independent, and at the same time, Sierra Leone celebrated independence from April 27th, 1961 until now. But there's another question, because the Queen of England remained the head of state for Sierra Leone until 1971.
Yes, sir.
So how independent were they for the first 10 years? And so there's so many different political questions to ask, but it definitely marked a moment in the history of the country that shifted things. But in terms of independence, meaning freedom, we're still fighting for that.
All right, my brother. Well, it's a process, and we're gonna take the people them on a journey today, in our conversation with you. And if we get to speak to Sister Kenya, that's beautiful, and any other brothers and sisters, because we know there's a lot going on there right about now. So it'll be good to hear a word from any other brothers and sisters if they want to come through and let us know where I'm going. Let's start at the beginning, my brother. Yourself, you are part of the Gullah Geechee Nation, which is partly where the name Gullah Leone comes from. In fact, so we're going to get into the Gullah Geechee in a second, but let's start with your two organizations, Gullah Leone and the Black Star Action Network International, BSANI. What are these two organizations, and what purposes do they serve?
Okay, well, I'll start with the Gullah Leone Union. The Gullah Leone Union is a multi-organizational front, basically a unity of 3 different organizations that collaborate together internationally to make sure that through our membership, we're able to coordinate activities in communities wherever we have membership and wherever we have capacity to do such. And I guess the first organization to recognize would be the Black Star Action Network International. It's an organization that I founded. I conceived it in 2009. By 2011, the founding committee was consolidated, and we launched in early 2012. When I moved to Sierra Leone in 2013, we internationalized, and we've just been figuring out how best to work grassroots to grassroots. grassroots to grassroots, and really trying to make our understanding of Garveyism practical in the 21st century. That race first, even at a micro scale, can be realized through excellent organizing. And I think that's what the UNIACL embodied, and I believe that's what we're trying to get it back to now for our generation and the future generation. So I would say that BSANI is a Garveyite organization. It was designed originally and still to comprise a network of independent organizers, activists, entrepreneurs that really have the Garveyite spirit and are beyond seeking scholars and beyond seeking leadership in terms of before we act. We're a younger generation organization, and among us, we have some pretty skilled activists, organizers, and we just put in the work to make sure that we can create micro models that can be duplicated anywhere, like the Be Clean campaign, the tools and seeds. They both were born by BSANI, and then adopted by the General Union. And so to move on to the second organization is the Gullah Nation of North America. You said Gullah Geechee Nation, and I just want to make a correction, because there is an organization by that name, but we're not affiliated with the Gullah Geechee Nation. Our name is the Gullah Nation of North America, and our ideology is a lot different. You know, we're a lot more African-centered and focused on grassroots activism, including Gullah Geechees beyond the federal corridor area right now in the U.S., realizing that there was a great migration of our people over the centuries, one that even led us back to founding Freetown. And so just embracing the whole spirit of what it means to belong to these lineages, and seeing how best we can revive our culture in a way that can elevate Pan-Africanism today. So we view our responsibility as Gullah Geechee people as an African responsibility, not an American responsibility, as a responsibility to lead the way back home to Africa, because for some reason we've been able to retain many of our Africanisms. Our Gullah Geechee connection to the continent is a little more visible, a little more recognizable than the average group or individuals that are not Gullah Geechees. And that's not to brag, because at one time we carried a lot of stigma just for being who we were. But now with the reawakening of the African consciousness, we find people coming back home to their Gullah Geecheeness. And you know, we're all part of that wave of coming home. You find Maroon descendants in Jamaica returning home right now. You know what I'm saying? You find Garifuna descendants returning home right now. You're finding our tribes in the diaspora returning home right now with a more Pan-African view of things.
Yes,
and
sir.
So the Gullah Nation of North America is a part of that. We initially came out as a unincorporated association. We organized a community and modeled it after the basic traditional African structure. So we do have a paramount chief or a head upon the community. We do have an elders council. We have ministers. We have ambassadors, and we have ordinary members within this community. And then the community has incorporated a nonprofit organization with 501c3 status in the United States as well, so that we can continue to do our developmental work, but in a way where it's legal, legit, and also people who support us can also get that benefit of being tax exempt for what they give to the cause. So we wanted to make sure that we cover not only establishing our sovereignty as a community of Gullah Geechees with a particular ideology and membership and leadership, but also that we had a legitimate, legally organized, and registered nonprofit organization that will be able to function all around the world. So we've done that. The third organization that makes up the Gullah Leone Union is the Gullah Redemption Mission Sierra Leone. The Gullah Redemption Mission Sierra Leone comes from an initiative that I sparked as the former international ambassador of the Gullah Nation of North America in 2015 here in Sierra Leone. The mission's objectives was to redeem the special kinship relationship between Gullah Geechee people in the diaspora and Sierra Leoneans here on the continent and in the diaspora, because we have many of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora that's very close to us, but we haven't been reaching out to those communities to even make the bond between us in the diaspora. So just trying to make a holistic unity, whereas at least it serves as a case in point, a bridge to cross. First of all, we're Pan-Africans, so it's not just a Gullah, Geechee, Sierra Leone thing. This is something that we're collaborating on for the rest of us to be able to come on board and benefit from as well. With our identity, just bridging that gap for all of us. So it's a very important thing. The Gullah Redemption Mission in Sierra Leone is a incorporated nonprofit company here in Sierra Leone. Our members are natives here. I serve as the Chief Executive Officer, and we do a lot of programs. Tools and Seeds is a very, very big program. I got a great update for you coming up. I know we're going to get there. But yeah, man, so we, just today we came from launching our Many Roots One Fambo school tour, where we're teaching the kids be clean workshops, how and when to properly clean their hands with soap, and also exposing them to the information, the relationship between the Gullahs and themselves.
Yes,
and also just engaging them in some cultural chants and some positive vibration. We went to Methodist girls' school here in Freetown, all girls school, and they loved it. We'll have some video footage coming soon. And so those three organizations, brother, make up the Gullah Leone Union. And of course, we have our allies. We're allied with the Universal Negro Improvement Association, Rehabilitating Committee 2020. I serve as the West African ambassador within that formation. And also serve as the current president of the Freetown division. That will be changing. Mama Kenya will be taking on that responsibility so that we really can get busy with expanding BSANI and the UNIACL throughout the general West African region. I believe we have a lot of potential right now, just given the climate of the politics of the region, to really expand the race-first ideology. So those three organizations, bro, that's what it is.
All right. We give thanks. So I know somebody here is wondering, what is Gullah Geechee? And when I said Gullah Geechee Nation, I didn't mean that in the organizational sense. I meant that in the literal sense of the Gullah Geechee being a nation. In that sense. But I do take your correction on board. All right. Now, so people say, what's Gullah? What is Geechee? One name Gullah Geechee. We don't know everything they're new to it. Yeah. So what's Gullah Geechee? And I know that's a very big question, but give us a brief, understanding of what it means to be Gullah Geechee.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have to give you a context to answer you in.
Yes,
First
sir.
of all, there's a key word, ethnogenesis, and there's another word called ethno, meaning that every body has a right to belong to an ethnicity, and the name of your ethnic group is your ethno. So like the Yoruba in Nigeria, that's their ethno. And they have what you call an ethnogenesis. There's a history of origins behind where and how they became who they are. Something occurred in history that planted the seed for what the Yoruba nation has grown to become. And I say it in an African context, but we can say that about the Ashanti, we can say that about the Mandinka, we can say that about the Malinke, the Fulani, we can say that about every single quote unquote modern ethnic group within the motherland.
Yes, sir.
And so the same is for those of us in the diaspora. I think that our twin is the Maroons in Jamaica.
Yes, sir.
I say that because they had a particular relationship with the colonizer, despite slavery, where there was a fight to maintain their autonomy, despite the colonization of the island. And it put them into certain categories of identity that may not necessarily apply to those without that particular history within their lineages. So you're able to say, I'm a Maroon because my daddy's 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 daddy. And Gullah Geechee is the same way. Now, so Gullah Geechee is our modern ethno. That's what we go by. Now, my mother would just say Geechee. Someone else's mother might say Gullah. There was a time where because of vernacular differences and regional differences in terms of the population dispersion, some people call themselves Geechee and call themselves Gullah. And some people call themselves Gullah and identify with Geechees. But today we put them both together because we realize that despite those past differences, we're talking about a single people who have one culture related to a single territory in North America. And we have a history very much like the Maroons, whereas we fought the United States government for over 100 years in the Gullah Wars in Florida. And we have a Maroon culture. We have a tradition of arming ourselves every time freedom was the promise. We fought in the American Revolutionary War and were evacuated after the defeat of the British to Nova Scotia and came back to Freetown and founded this place in 1792. And so it's a very, very important understanding that we had to have when we say, what is Gullah Geechee? Now, the origins of the Gullah Geechee, the ethnogenesis, the historic occurrence that happened that gave birth to even the circumstances for Gullah Geechees to be here today is the transatlantic slave trade, just like it is for the Maroons, just like it is for every ethnic group within the African diaspora, within the Americas. It's the same thing. We're not that much different from others, you know, but we have to explain ourselves so others understand who we are. So for centuries, Gullah Geechees have been recognized as a distinct cultural group, a nation within a nation, so to speak, you know, because of our culture and because of our relationship with the system. For instance, South Carolina and Georgia had African majorities since the early 1700s. And the Europeans didn't become majorities there again until the 1900s. And so you got to remember that when we're talking about the era of enslavement, we're talking about a time where Georgia and South Carolina had African majorities, and that Florida was the rainforest wilderness of escape. The Underground Railroad didn't only go to the north. One went to the south as well. And it was Gullah Geechee people that was down there with the indigenous people fighting in the so-called Seminole Wars, which we know was in reality Gullah Wars. And so we are correcting the history that's been lost. You understand?
Yes,
and so Gullah is a name that we believe in the Gullah Nation of North America is directly connected to two places and two groups of African people that were very prominent in making up who our ancestors were. That would be the people of Angola, and that would be also the people of Sierra Leone and Liberia surrounding the general Gullah forest region. I say that because you do have a Gullah ethnic group, but you also have many ethnic groups that occupy the region where the forest exists. And here they will tell you that Gullah means foresters. It means people who know how to survive in the forest. They're not from the desert. You know, they have a different culture than people in Senegal naturally because they have a different environment. These were the people that knew how to brush and clear South Carolina and convert it into rice farms. These were the people because they did it already in their motherland. And so the Europeans who were making the orders for the Africans that they wanted to come into Charleston after 1670, and mind you, Charleston was founded by British people who were formerly settled in Barbados, and they came with their Africans that they had captive and enslaved, and they brought them. And so the first Gullah Geechees, technically, would be those who came from Barbados with those British colonizers that first established Charleston. That's very, very important. And then secondly, in 2 years after that, in 1672, Bunch Island slave fortress, 27 miles away from where I'm sitting, was opened up by the British as well as a privatized commercial trade center. And it ended up being the primary, most principal slave fortress connected to Charleston, South Carolina. And it was because in the early 1700s, they realized that they could plant West African rice if they had the skilled people who could do that. And so there became like a hunt for these rice farmers And so the general area from Senegambia down to Sierra Leone, Liberia became highly targeted by the slave masters of South Carolina and Georgia. And so at the height of the transatlantic slave trade, where they were taking more of us from Africa to North America, was the mid-1700s. And during that time, there was tens and thousands of Sierra Leoneans reaching the shores of Charleston, tens and thousands of people who today would be classified as Sierra Leoneans and have citizenship here because they would be born here. So that general name, Gullah, it evolved from, we believe, people utilizing it and having a relationship to that name in Africa, whether it was Angola or whether it was the Gullah people here in West Africa. And then the Geechee has also too, because in Georgia, around the Savannah area, you have a river called the Old Geechee River. And some people would say, well, that's where it was inspired by. But then again, here in West Africa, just east of the Gullah people in the Gullah forest, you have a people called the Gizi. And Gizi, and if it was turned into English, would be Geechee. And so maybe because the terms were close and familiar to the same people, they adopted them. And so that's how language goes. You know, if you're stolen from London and they take you to Mars, and when you get there, they have a place called Linden, you might identify strongly with it, even though it's a different exact terminology. And you know, that's what happens when you don't control your own linguistic constructions, when you have to actually force to speak your enemy's language, which is another thing that makes us Gullah Geechee. We evolved out of the West African pidgin and the West Indian pidgin, a mother tongue Creole language that still exists very much, especially in the Sea Islands where our people were most secluded for the longest. And so Gullah Geechee people do have a mother tongue Creole language that ties us directly to the patois of Jamaica and most strongly to the Creole of Sierra Leone. And that is because many of our ancestors came from Sierra Leone speaking the pidgin from this region. And if it got evolved into a mother tongue in America, then what happened was that the basic syntax, the basic flow, the grammar was still influenced by this region. So when our ancestors came back speaking Creole as Nova Scotians or whatever they call us in history, when they came back speaking the mother tongue Creole, there was a pidgin that was active here as a trade language that even the indigenous Africans could talk. So this was the common language of communication and exchange between the indigenous and the Africans that was coming back, although the British people could not speak the Creole or the pidgin as well as us. And so in that environment, along with many other languages coming from West Africa, whereas you had over 105,000 Africans relocated back in Freetown after they was rescued from slave ships destined for the Americas. And they came to form this West African Creole culture that we have here in Sierra Leone today. And so the history connects directly to the language, and the cultural heritage takes us even farther because we find even material evidence of survival between Sierra Leone and Gullah Geechee people that we don't find in many other places. So Gullah Geechee is a multi-ethnic community of African people of origins in West and Central Africa that decided that despite our many roots, that we will be one family, and we begin to call ourselves by names, and we begin to create our own systems of spirituality, our own system of language. We created our own birth rituals and death rituals. We established our own religious institutions, political institutions, educational institutions, fought our own wars, and have done that for centuries in North America. And not everyone is a Gullah Geechee because they're African American. But some say if you shake an African American family tree, a Geechee will fall out.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's
So
like
we
me, you
view
know, 'cause
ourselves as a
I'm a.
nation.
They say similar about people in Jamaica. Even myself, I have maroon ancestry, you know, because they said everybody have, you know, at least one maroon ancestor, you know, them line, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, give thanks for that, bro. We could dwell on the history here, because there's even some context in terms of the history of Sierra Leone, yeah. But let's come back to that. Let's come back to that, because we're living in a time of fast-paced social media, and I know people are wondering, like you said, we're practicalizing the legacy of Papa Marcus Mosiah Garvey and the UNA ACL, yeah. And so I want to get into some of those things, and maybe we can come back to the history of Sierra Leone later on in the conversation. And I see my brother Tristan Samuels has got a question in the chat. I'm going to come to you, my brother. Shout out to the chat, though. Big up to the young Sierra Leonean. Big up to my Empress, Nahanda Sankofa. Big up to Olivia, who's, you know, manifesting her happiness right about now. Bigging up Anita Howard, and of course Tristan Samuels. I'm going to come back to your thing, and also Judean Roots, Nova Scotia. Yeah, man, there's a lot of history, Nova Scotia, Sierra Leone, South and North Carolina, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to come back to them someday. All right, let's get into the works, yeah, that are going underground. So we're going to go Be Clean, to C's, and then we're going to get into the citizenship thing. And I know there's this citizenship question is one that people often bring up, yeah, when they want to challenge people, Africans from the diaspora who have African-centered or Pan-African inclination. Them say, well, you can't even get citizenship, as though that's the defining factor, yeah, in what it means to be an African. However, you need to know that there are Africans on the ground that are solving those problems, yeah? So stay tuned. We're going to get Chief Foday to break it down properly, all right, in a sec. But before that, you have two major programs that we know of, yeah, on the ground in Sierra Leone. The first is Be Clean, yeah? Be Clean. Now, let the people them know about the Be Clean program and the work that yourselves are doing on the ground in Freetown.
Okay, no problem. Well, the Be Clean campaign is exactly that. It's a campaign that spreads awareness that we have to be clean, to be healthy, and really to maintain sanity. You know, if you live in a dirty place, it can impact you psychologically. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just being clean just to do it. There's a reason that we have to be clean. And so we know that that's common sense for most people. But at the same time, sometimes people don't have the ability to know how to properly clean. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to intervene in places where it's not clean. So long story short, just to give you a little background story, which I would say inspired me to even take that route and put it on the table to the organizations, and we took it up because the concept came from me in terms of the ideal. If you ask someone else, they wouldn't be able to explain it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So my mother, who she passed away in 2014, but she was an activist. She was a minister as well. Her father was from Montego Bay. You know, her mother was from South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? And she had it on her, man. She just had the whole vibe. She was very, very geeky, very, very Creole. And at the same time, she backslid, what you call backslid. You know, the crack era even knocked Tupac's mama back. You know.
Yes.
And it caught a lot of good people in our community, including my mother, who probably got caught up just trying to enjoy themselves and had to go through hell as the United States government loaded our communities with this substance.
Yes, sir.
And so my mother was a victim of the crack bombs, just like many of our loved ones. For about 10 years, man, she struggled with addiction. I basically went from a little boy to a young man, you know, through that period. That's where I get my little edge from. You know, I'm a little rough around the edges, you know, because I had to come up hard, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so my mother, when she did decide that it was over, that she was going to leave this substance alone and she was going to conquer it, She went into her spirituality, but she also went back into her service.
Right.
And every Saturday she would wake the whole household up and make us clean the community. You know what I mean? She would knock on the doors, and tell people to bring out their brooms. And it was because she felt responsible. It was because she wanted to redeem herself. She wanted to feel like she was now a part of the solution now. And that was very important for her. And so that's where I got the concept from, that her taking the initiative to initiate community cleanups was what helped her to heal from her sickness. And so understanding that what it could do to an individual, like my mother, who I seen going through that kind of thing, I just know what it can do for other people. And I remember being her son and looking forward to it because a lot of people was going to get together to do it. It was going to be nice, a positive experience. So that's where I got the seed from. Now, what happened here is that on August 14th, 2017, I believe it was, 18, I'm sorry. There was a mudslide that took place here in Sierra Leone. There was a very heavy rain, and people here, they just build up on the mountainsides. The government tells them not to, but the population is too much in the capital city. So they just build where they can. And the people were building up on the mountains, and the mountainside collapsed, bro. It just collapsed. Over 1,000 people was killed.
I remember it well. I remember the news well when that came out. It was a very tragic event. Very, very tragic.
Yeah. So back then, BSANI was our registered entity on the ground. So BSANI, our organization, we responded. The same day we went over there. We got the people, the organizers' names. We met with the people. We got to take photos and just understand what happened. And then we had some clothes, we had some school supplies that was already sitting. We was waiting for the opportunity to give them to the people that really would need them. And it presented itself. So we went back again, put together a relief committee, provided them with the clothes, provided them with some money, provided the children with some school supplies. And for a few weeks, we coordinated, we stayed in contact. They were getting a lot of support. You understand? A lot of people were stepping up to support the victims. People lost everything, man. They didn't just lose lives; they lost everything. And so, it was a bad time. But one of the things that happened was that I lived on the opposite side of town. I lived on the east end of Freetown, and on our side of town, people were afraid of cholera. They thought that there were so many bodies swept out into the ocean that they have to come back ashore. When they come back ashore, it's going to pollute the water and people are going to get sick. And so people were terrified. And I remember me and my wife was having a conversation with some of the youth here, and they were so dry-eyed, man. Like they didn't have a tear in their eye about the situation. They was like so used to tragedy happening and nobody doing nothing, and them not being able to do anything. And so I told my wife, I was like, man, we need to empower them so that they know that there's something that they can do. And the market that we was going to is where my wife first started hearing the rumors about the cholera. And so we was like, okay, well, let's try to organize some of the ghetto boys down in the market area, some of the market women independently, because it was in the middle of the last presidential elections, national elections. We didn't want to be sided with no political party. We're Pan-Africanists. We're down with the people at the grassroots. And so we believe in developing the communities by impacting the human development at a real hands-on level, producing the leaders that we need by being their mentors, by showing them how to organize, by being there to provide them with opportunities that no one else would provide them with in their immediate environment, cutting to the chase, not waiting for people to do for us what we can do for ourselves. That's our motto. And so what we did was we got with the youth that understood that this is not political business. This is about empowering the community. And the youth here are very stigmatized. Poverty is very extreme. If you're poor, you must be a criminal. If you're poor, you must be a bad person. You know, people relate poverty to negativity, not knowing that poverty is a consequence of oppression. You understand? And so, we unified with a youth group that was operating at the market. We got with the market women, they provided food. So we said, you know what, we're going to clean the market. And we surveyed, the people said they never knew when the market was ever clean like that independently by the people. Like no one has never rallied the people to do that. And so what we did was, because we wasn't sure how we was going to be able to hit, we did a little dry run. So it was right after the rain season. So we went and cleaned the local cemetery first, so that we could get the respect of the community.
Yes.
So when we went and brushed the local cemetery, the people came down. They were very excited. We told them then we're going to the market next, and the market was a great success. Even there was a situation where the one of the political parties that were contesting locally, they tried to come and basically join our cleanup, and the youth themselves, they was like, yo, get out of here. This is not political party business. This is the youth. This is the youth that's doing this. Y'all can go over there with the politics. Yes, and what happened was that even there was a Pan-African brother named Kareem Ba. He ran for parliament independent, no political party. So we supported that. And he joined us on one of four of the cleanups, and he took the broom as his symbol as he campaigned for a municipal, for a ministerial position. He didn't win, but it's just the symbology of it. And what happened was that we got so much love from the community and appreciation from the community for what we did as BSANI, as UNIA, ACL here. Yes, sir. They was like, yo, the different parties started to compete among themselves using cleanups as a campaign vehicle. So what happened is that in April, when it was confirmed Julius Madabule would be the next president of Sierra Leone, the first thing that the national government did was make every first Saturday clean up. You're not even allowed outside until a certain time if you're not cleaning your community. And also, the new mayor of Freetown, Yvonne Aki Sawyer, she launched the Transform Freetown initiative. And I've been here 8 years. Freetown has never been as clean. Yes, and so we relate us as being part of that catalyst of change because we took the action that was necessary to take. And that is the Be Clean campaign. So far, what we have done now is that everything that we was doing as BSANI, we have opened it up to the general Gullah Leone Union. And so now the Gullah Redemption Mission Sierra Leone is the registered entity here that leads the Be Clean campaign. Yes, with that, we have cleaned the historic King Jimmy Marketplace 3 times, 4 times in the last few years. We was just there yesterday visiting the people, and we're about to get right back to it. So we've also been able to clean certain communities like the Somalia Town community, and we even been able to, most recently, to do an international mobilization, whereas we clean portions of communities within Shreveport, Louisiana, Bronx, New York, Washington, D.C., York, Pennsylvania, and Freetown at the same time, simultaneously. So we're developing the campaign into something that crosses borders and crosses communities and ultimately brings us closer together in the struggle for a cleaner society. We get to fight environmentalism. We get to bring volunteerism back to life. What made the Black Panther Party powerful was that they was able to tap into the volunteer services of the masses. The masses wasn't looking to get paid but for supporting the Black Panther Party. They knew they was getting fed by the Black Panther Party. They knew they was getting healed by the Black Panther Party. They knew that they were being protected by the Black Panther Party for self-defense. And so we all have to know that even that spirit is a Garveyite spirit, because long before that, you had the African Legionnaires who was live and direct, defending the community in Tulsa. You know, defending the community during the lynch, you know, the burn, baby, burn, red, you know, the red summers of the early 1900s. And so this spirit of militancy that we see even now today, being emulated. It's not actually what it's supposed to be. It's being emulated.
Yes,
People
sir.
have taken the symbols of our right to struggle, and they are now commercializing them and using them to push their activist careers.
Yes, sir.
And it has nothing to do with the collectivism that the symbols actually embody. Some of us who represent those symbols have been very, very quiet because we're too busy working. But there has to be a time where we actually sit down and correct some of the errors and lay out our criticisms, because without criticism, we can never correct our errors.
Yes,
and none of us are perfect. So
yes,
that's what I would say about the Be Clean campaign. It's a dynamic program, and we're looking to expand it.
Give thanks. And it's so basically, and this is a very particular problem. If you've ever been to any of our back home nations, whether in Africa or the Caribbean, you will know that there's often a very big issue with waste disposal, national waste disposal services, and sometimes that may not affect the whole nation, but it certainly will affect the areas where the so-called poor people are. The affluent areas, they'll get dealt with. The government will make sure that there's proper waste disposal. But in the little poor areas, them oftentimes, that is not the case, and it creates health hazards among us as a people. And so this particular program, getting the community involved in a program such as this, has so much potential and so much growth, and I understand that a lot of the young people are kind of involved and leading that process at the moment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Well, we have a form of membership that we've created. It's called OCV. It stands for On Call Volunteers. So these people, they're able to register with us for free. They don't pay dues, but they don't vote. But they're able to serve on committees, and then they're like a standing army almost. Yes, sir. Yes, that whenever we want to mobilize in any area, we have our 5-member committee there that is connected to the other 100 or so. So we have representation in various communities. And then we have, like, for instance, King Jimmy community, we have 75 on-call volunteers and a 5-member committee. In the neighboring community, Government WAF, we have 75 members and a 5-member executive committee. So that means that we have empowered the people with the organizational ability to have a voice within our organization without paying to enter, without having to pay dues, and still being empowered, because we have a mutual interest in seeing that the people are healthy and that they have opportunities, and that we fight back the impacts of poverty and ultimately neo-colonialism in the 21st.
Most definitely. Give thanks for that, my brother. Kings and Queens, we're going to be open up the line soon, if you want to interact with Chief Foday, stay tuned, and you can also ask your questions in the chat if you want to, as Brother Tristan has done. I'm gonna come to your questions soon, my brother. We're going to get through some of this stuff. So I want people to leave knowing, of the works that are happening in Sierra Leone, in West Africa. Very important for us as Got Kush TV to connect with the motherland and the brothers and sisters that are doing work in the motherland. All right, so stay tuned. We'll be sharing the link for anybody who wants to come live and interact with Chief Foday, and hopefully Sister Kenya, Mansaray as well. All right, cool. When she's ready, we'll welcome her. Right, Kings and Queens, we're gonna go on to talk about Tools to Seeds program. Now, I began, my brother, with a quote, and forgive me because I'm forgetting the elder, the name of the elder who made this statement, but he says that there's no culture without agriculture, And so we got to get it, and we know that back in the day, one of the programs of the UNIA ACL was an agricultural program, owning land and growing, produce on that land. And man, it's a very serious thing, because it's about food, clothing, and shelter, and all of which begins with land, and our ability to engage agriculture. So let the people know about the Tools to Seeds program.
Okay, yes, for sure. So the Tools to Seeds program was initially launched through BSANI here in Sierra Leone. It came from us having a desire to intervene with a programmatic way, a systematic way, with communities that already have land and already have farming, but don't necessarily have the tools or the seeds. And not only the material tools and seeds, but even the organizational tools and seeds, even the financial tools and seeds, even the marketing tools and seeds that I call this model eco factories, converting the villages into basically production factories without industrializing them. You understand that? Mm-hmm. To the point that they become dependent on outside resources, but really just maximizing the native production with what is already there in the people's hands and in their minds. And so tools and seeds is that. Our goal was to provide farmers assistance. Right. Provide assistance to the farmers. And so what we did originally was we partnered with a village. Mm-hmm. They gave us access to, I believe it was two acres of land. It wasn't that much. And we went through the process of learning how to, how would you say, brush the land, you know, how to employ the workers, you know, at what time do we plant, what do we expect, basically a test run. We did that so that we could have more confidence in doing it. We documented it, we showcased it so that our people out there who support us understand, you know, the procedure as well. We highly believe in transparency, much more than trust. You know, trust is a personal thing, but transparency is a collective thing. And so, you know, we did that. The second year we did it again, but more closer to Freetown than far away from the village. And it really, honestly, it was a miss. You know, you have hits and misses when you're developing. You don't always get it right. You know, some people have too much pride and ego to say that they didn't meet their mark. But I'll say that the second time we didn't meet our mark, but we didn't stop. We didn't stop. And so last year we was able to do our first well sustained and organized farming, which kicked off in the village of Magoya in northern Sierra Leone. And we went there, we brushed, we had access to 500 acres there. We went and met with the chiefs, the elders, and they basically was like, hey, you know, utilizing the land, sharing the land with us to develop our place is not a question of buying nothing. Let's just come together and utilize the land and see how far we can go with first community farming, and then we can evolve into something commercial. But let's make sure that the people can grow what they eat first before we start trying to make money out of taking money from their village. And so we just trying to not only get it done, but do it in the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like in a way where nobody gonna come behind and say we took advantage of somebody or something like that. So they gave us access to utilize up to 500 acres. And we started focusing on 50. At the end, we only dealt with 20. And we brushed it. And at the end of the day, everything went fine. We got the seeds in the ground. We learned more about mobilizing heavy labor. We learned more about transporting our harvest back to the town. We learned even about what happens when there's spoilage. You know, we did groundnuts, and we had some spoilage, but we were able to turn what was spoiled, not necessarily rotten spoiled, but not ready for the market, into peanut butter. Right. Great tasting peanut butter. So we was able to even learn how to add value when things don't go as planned. So we learned a lot in the process. This year, Tools and Seeds is going to be the biggest Tools and Seeds yet. We're working with the village of Ndaraya in Bariwa Chiefdom, northern Sierra Leone, which is in my own section. I'm a resident of the Balandugu section of Bariwa Chiefdom, Bonoya, and Daraya is like a sister village of the people of Bonoya. So we're farming there this year. There's so much land, so much opportunity, but sometimes people just need a little push. And so Gullah Redemption Mission Sierra Leone, Gullah Leone Union, we have partnered with the local organization there. And particularly on their farming project. And they have opened up 15 acres of land for us. We've already brushed it, and we plan to plant rice. We plan to plant cassava, potato, and other crops there. It is a strictly community farm. GOU is not pulling anything from that. We just want to be able to help the people produce it and then show them how to best market it and sell it and manage it and grow it. We just want to be there to guide the process. And once the community is sustainable in terms of food security and nutrition, then we definitely want to go into some serious commercial farming because the land is so fat, so big, so fertile. We got young men from the village, they're scattered all across Sierra Leone, jobless. But if we had farmlands that developed in the village, then we can convert the villages and grow them into small towns. If we can bring the young men back and the young women back to the villages. That's one of the negative impacts of the war is that there was so much refugees that left home and never came back. So the villages are suffering from a lack of young, skilled labor, from a lack of young men. Young men go to the cities looking for jobs. They abandon the farms. So this Tools and Seeds is a way that we even get the youth here in Freetown involved because we have an urban garden. We have an urban garden here in Freetown as well. And so Tools and Seeds is for us to do our fair due promotion of feed yourself. We're combating food security and food insecurity, and we're also combating malnutrition, which leads to the number one cause of maternal death, the death of our babies. A lot of times it's the lack of malnutrition. And if the people don't have a way to make money, then how can they buy food in the market? That means they're only eating what they can grow on a subsistence level. So we're trying to get them from subsistence to sustainability. And so far it's going good there. Now, the second place that we're doing our farming at this year is the big one. It's located in Kowa Chiefdom in the Moyamba district in the southern region of Sierra Leone. It's a Mende land. It's the land of the Mende people. Right. And the village name is Njama. So together you would say Njama Kowa. We took our executive trip there a few months ago, met with the Paramount Chief, met with the people, the society people, and others, and told them that we wanted to come and partner to do a community farm with them. Up until that point, they had the interest, but they didn't have the push. And so we committed to that. We did some fundraising, man, got the resources together, and we cleared 15 acres there as well. When we cleared that 15 acres, the government heard about us intervening and realized that the Gullah Redemption Mission Sierra Leone is the only organization or company that is actively having members and programs in that whole chiefdom. And they came in on our behalf and cleared another 100 acres of land with 2 tractors for a rice plantation. So we're looking at up to 115 acres in that one place. And that's community farming, and we'll definitely include commercial farming. And we want to grow rice, we want to grow everything we can grow, but definitely rice. The kind of rice that we can pull from 100 acres can grow this village into a town alone. The farming that we're doing is cassava farming, and we're able to turn that into fufu flour. People like fufu, it comes from the cassava. We're able to convert that also into gari, which is like a grain. It's a grainy food. It's like a cereal. We eat it here a lot. So these things have value, and then of course peppers. You know, the 3 month crops. Every 3 months we pull crops. Every 3 months we pull crops. Cassavas you might leave in the ground for a year so it can get big. But the leaf itself, every 3 to 6 weeks, you're going to be chopping leaf. And those leaves you can eat or you can go sell to take care of your farm. So we're learning by hands-on engaging the farmers how best we can improve the methods of farming as well as marketing, and show the people how to make the transition from subsistence, which people feel secure in subsistence. at least I can grow what I know how to grow. I don't care about what another man know how to do.
Yes.
But we're trying to also even get these wounded communities back to their own communal spirit as well, and make it like that. So it's been very, very powerful. We went there last week and took home one of our chief elders who's here in the country. The Gullah Leone delegation is here right now. We have Sister Lola Williams. She's here. She is our Minister of Information for the Gullah Leone Union. She's a Gullah Geechee. My wife, of course, is here, who serves as the international ambassador and the president of the organization. We have our vice president, Ebony Mitchell, who is also UNIACL, also BSANI. We have Baba.
Sorry, bro. Just want to say shout out to Sister Ebony. She's been keeping me in tune. I've been watching her updates on the social media and them thing there. So we're keeping in tune with what I'm going. So shout out to the sister. Good time. Go ahead. Bro.
Yeah, no doubt. So Baba Reggie Austin, who serves as a chief elder, he's been given his official traditional name. His name now is Baba Singbe Senesi Tibi. He was brought into a royal house. There's only 5 royal homes in the chiefdom. He was brought into one of them, a warrior's home. And it was beautiful. Even Sister Ebony was taken into a warrior's home, one of the 5 royal homes of the village. Her name, Sister Ebony, now is known as Ebony Shudi Kui of the Kui family, of the Mende. And so we just went down there, man, got it in, connected to people. Baba Singbe today received his citizenship along with Sister Yiwa, another sister who's here. So we're just out here doing the work, man, trying to keep it humble. There's a lot of what I would say fugaziness in the game, but as you know, man, as Garveyites, we have to keep it principled and just, listen and watch twice as much as we talk. Yes, sir. And just see how the cards play. So that's really what it's about, man. Tools and Seeds is it. We want to launch it and package it so that we can do it international, just like we do the Be Clean campaign international as well. These two programs, the general 2 programs of the Gullah Leone Union, each organization are pushing these 2 programs as a priority because every community can use the Be Clean campaign and the Tools and Seeds program.
Most definitely, my brother. Give thanks for that breakdown. I hope people appreciate the levels that we're talking about right about now. We're speaking to Brother Chief Foday of the Gullah Leone Union and the Black Star Action Network International, and he's over there in Sierra Leone right about now. And we've just spoken to him about the Tools to Seize program, which is an agricultural program taking place, in Sierra Leone, and also the Be Clean program, which is about health and sanitation and these kind of things, kings and queens. So this is practical work from brothers and sisters who are repatriates, to the continent, Africans who have repatriated and are going with things, So it's important that we know that these works are going on the ground on the continent, because many of us don't know, and many of us who don't know have very loud voices, to talk about Wagwan and all these things, kings and queens. So we have to just know, and it's a pleasure to have our brother on. We're gonna open up the line, kings and queens. So I'm sharing the link in the chat right about now. If you want to come through and speak to Chief Foday, click that link and come through. Click that link and come through. And you can ask a question, send a shout out. Appreciate the work that are happening. Right, I want to come to the citizenship aspect of things, Chief Foday. While the people them are coming through, come to the citizenship thing. Now before we do that, we've got a question from Brother Tristan Samuels, who says, one question, Chief Foday: is it possible not simply reference? Sorry. Is it possible not to simply reference yourself as Gullah without the North American label, and for North American located simply, North American located be simply Gullah Geechee, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think I understand. Let me say this and be absolutely clear. My beef is not with North America. North America didn't do nothing to me. North America is a subcontinent. It's a region of land.
Yes, sir.
And Gullah Geechee people had our ethnogenesis in North America, even though our origins, our ethnogenesis started in Africa. So it's like if Gullah Geechee was impregnated in Africa but born in North America. And it's because we want to be clear that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with embracing your diasporan identity. As long as you know you're an African and you know that it's Africa for Africans, then there should be no contradiction in us fully embracing our diaspora identities. It really is truly who we are. I think that saying Gullah Nation of North America is the most accurate way, because when you think about the name nation, and you think about etymology, you apply etymology to it. Malcolm X taught us about studying words. The word nation, English, it comes from a Greek word called nation. Nation means blood. It means blood. And so when we say people, we're talking about Gullah Geechee people, and Gullah Geechee people can identify ourselves by our blood, by who our parents are, where they come from, how they talk, how they ate food, our history. Gullah Geechee are very well researched and documented people. So we say North America because we don't have a problem with North America.
As in the land. Go ahead. It does. I think you're differentiating between the land itself and the invaders who now dominate in the land. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I can imagine though somebody saying that you probably should so I know, for example, that the indigenous peoples have a name that they call it Abiyala or something like that. They some of the indigenous peoples of the Americas use that name to refer to the land, if that makes sense. So I know someone's gonna say that, so I'm just putting it out there. But I take your point.
That's just like Africa.
Yes, sir.
How long have we been calling our continental landmass Africa?
Yes, sir.
It hasn't been that long. Yes, so it's not about the names we call them. It's about the geography of the places and locating the people accurately.
Yes, sir.
You understand? If someone is from New York, then they're from quote unquote North America today. Regardless of how it came about, you don't have to agree with the colonization. But you have to be real enough to say, in our day and times, there is a such place that we refer to all around the world as North America. And also, when we say North America, notice I'm not saying of the low country. I'm saying North America. And North America, technically, regionally, would include Canada and Mexico. You understand? And we have roots in those places. Gullah Geechees went to Nova Scotia. Gullah Geechees also went on the Trail of Tears and ended up in Mexico. So we have these expressions of Gullah Geechee people throughout North America.
Yes, sir.
That's what we're trying to bring back to the light. So we're not going to shy away from North America. We're Gullah Geechees in terms of our ethnonym. I could say I'm an African American, but I'm a Gullah Geechee, and it's a different political meaning behind it. It means something different culturally. It means I see the fact that my ancestors chose that name. That name was not imposed on us by Europeans. They don't even know what it means, and it's not even their language. It is an African relic. It is something that our ancestors developed for us to have and call ourselves by. And so I am Gullah Geechee.
Yes, sir. Give thanks for that. And Brother Tristan says, thank you for taking my question and providing clarity. And yes, don't worry about the time for us, right? So it got some time. I'm guilty of it too. We've got a question from Sherelle Ruth. And I'm not sure I fully understand it, but maybe it's because I'm not fully into the American geography. But she says, wow, I've lived in Shreveport area and was born in York, Pennsylvania. Why those cities in particular, if I could ask? Maybe I missed something, but I'm not sure. So if you understand the question, my brother, take it away.
I do. I understand it. Well, Shreveport, Louisiana is where we are based in the United States. Our vice president currently, Sister Ebony, she's from Shreveport, Louisiana.
That's right. Okay. Right. Cool.
Yeah. And so, of course, she was the one who led the Be Clean campaign there, the cleanup. Now, York, Pennsylvania, because I was born in Chester, Pennsylvania, but I've lived in York, Pennsylvania from under 1 year old. Like I was a few months old when my family moved from Chester to York. My brothers, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews, I have over 80, maybe to 100 living relatives there in York, Pennsylvania right now. It is my hometown. And for those who don't know, it is just above the Mason-Dixon line, about 45 minutes away from Baltimore on I-95 North. So just to give you a little history and the connection, York is a very small place. It's about 5 square miles. Historically, York is referred to as the first capital of the United States of America.
Yep.
Because before they had the USA, they had the Continental Congress, which was a provisional government, much like the UNIACF, the government pending the outcome of the war. And so they at one time was based in Philadelphia, and then the government got chased out of Philadelphia by the British, and they fled to York, Pennsylvania, this place that she's asking about. That's my hometown in Pennsylvania. When they fled there, they literally, the Continental Congress, it was the first time they ever put the name United States of America into a legal document when they signed the Articles of Confederation. So that technically gave birth to the actual government. It wasn't the Declaration of Independence that said United States of America. It was that Articles of Confederation that gave birth to the provisional government, and that happened in York. And York was the capital for several months during that time before it went back to Philadelphia. And this is before there was a Washington, D.C. You know, the capital could have been Baltimore, York, could have been Philly, but they decided to create a district, a federal district that wouldn't be part of any state, like Rome almost. And so that's what they decided to do. So at the end of the day, during the Great Migration period, many people from the Low Country and inlands of South Carolina and Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, Virginia, that Southeast region, begin to flee to the Northeast. And many of the Black people in York, Pennsylvania, are the descendants of those migrations. Many of them came up from Bamberg, South Carolina. My family roots is in Orangeburg, Dorchester, got family in Beaufort. I got family all throughout the region there. But many of the families left from Bamberg. And they left from Bamberg because back then you could either go to the north by ship or by railroad. And no matter where you was coming from, you had to go to Bamberg in order to get on a train called the Bamberg Express. The Bamberg Express would take you from Bamberg, South Carolina, all the way to Baltimore. Then it would turn around and then bring people from Baltimore all the way down to Bamberg. So that was like their little route. Now, York being so close to Bamberg attracted a lot of the Africans who want to be in a more isolated situation. And so the Black the African population in York, Pennsylvania is largely Gullah Geechee descendant. That's what I was trying to get to. And my sister who is the treasurer for Gonona, she lives in York right now, and she's actually on the ballot for a city council seat right now. So I have a history of activism and everything in that city. That is my home. My mother's buried there. You know, my son lives there. So York is my home. Beautiful. That's why York.
Give thanks, my brother, for that answer. Right, let's get to, by the way, Kings and Queens, the link is in the chat. Yeah, if you want to come and say a word to Chief Foday, ask a question, get some clarity, you want to know, or you can get to Sierra Leone and where you can buy Chief Foday seems to have dropped off at a critical moment, Kings and Queens. All right, let's see if we can get the brother back. So just stay tuned, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Don't touch that dial, as they say. We're going to try and get the brother back in a second, all right? But feel free to come through and click that link if and when you're ready. Right, we've got Chief Foday back. Hold on a second, please, Kings and Queens. All right, yes, sir, yes, sir. Right, Chief. So now we want to know about this thing where we call citizenship, because you said that about 40-50 people are about to get citizenship, and you know, within the context of the reparations movement and a lot of the anti-Africanism that is going on at the moment, people are licking out against people like me and you, bro. You know what I'm saying, with our African sensibilities, and saying that the Africans don't even love us, they don't even respect us, because they don't even want to give us citizenship, which is a stupid conversation. However, there's some citizenship thing going on at the moment. So what's happening with Sierra Leone and Africans and getting citizenship at the moment, my brother?
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Yeah. Let me tell you the history of it first, man. I know we all know about Isaiah Washington, the brother from Grey's Anatomy, that he did some kind of homo smear. He smeared a homo or something like that. Yes. And you know, Hollywood was all over him. He caught the African vibe. Yes. Got his DNA test, found out he was of Mende descent, came back to Sierra Leone, and the people honored him. And eventually he was given the citizenship, granted it. Now, after that happened, there was nobody else to get it until just about 2 years ago.
Right.
And so we looked at it like, was this something just for the celebrity?
Right.
Or was it like something that they about to open up for everybody who got the evidence that he had? So yeah, man, that's what happened. After he got it in 2016, myself and Kenya and others began to approach the government about the possibility of them giving us a process that we can go through in order to acquire our citizenship, because there was no process. Admittedly, they knew that they agreed that we had the right. They knew that it would benefit the country, but there was never no serious process considered.
Right.
And so the government began to go through their things, and then the people also began to increase. People started coming back more and more, bro. And so it kind of like everybody would come and say, yo, what about citizenship? What about citizenship? Until the government realized, like, yo, this is a real thing. The African Americans who are coming back with DNA tested evidence saying they're one of us, they asking about citizenship.
Yes, sir.
And so finally, 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago, right? When Shavana got it right. 2019, the first group of African ancestry DNA testers received their citizenships. They was on a trip. President did his thing, intervened, gave them what they deserved, and sent them back. And he sent a strong message out to the world at that time that Sierra Leone is ready to enter that level of dealing with African Americans, of dealing with the diaspora in general. Because I've seen people come back from Brazil. I've seen people come back from the UK. It's not just a Black American thing.
Yes, sir.
You know, it never has been. You know what I'm saying? And so, but because the majority of those coming back in pursuit of citizenship are Black Americans, it's not people tested in the Caribbean coming back seeking it. Majority is people coming from the United States of America right now. Then there was earlier this year, because of COVID, they couldn't give the second one. But then earlier this year in January, they conferred 22 citizenships.
Right.
And then after that, they wrote out a policy that gave us 13 requirements. And one of them was that you have to pursue your citizenship by going to a licensed travel and tourist company registered in Sierra Leone.
Yes, sir.
And so our Gullah Redemption Mission Sierra Leone is a licensed travel and tourism company.
Yes,
it's
sir.
One of the ways that we plan to generate the resources to keep our programs going.
Yes, sir.
We're involved in tourism, not for privatized capitalism. We're involved in tourism so that we can help our people as they come, And if there's any profits to be made, then they can go towards tools and seeds. It can go towards our programs and projects. So it's more like Girl Scout cookies to the Girl Scouts than it is like a privatized commercial thing. We're not competing with anyone. We're offering our services, and thank you very much for what you can help us do for our people. But so that's one of them. And they also said that, you know, any company, you can take any company as long as you have a certificate. Saying that your Y or X chromosome ancestor comes back to a Sierra Leonean. Now, one of the problems that I have with what's happening is that African Ancestry Inc., and it's not a shade to them, I respect everybody, they research to find out particular information about you with their test. They want to identify not only what modern country your ancestors would have been taken from, but also what modern ethnic group your ancestors would have been taken from. By examining your genetic information in comparison to genetic information database by samples taken from Africans on the continent. And so that's what they offer. Now there's other companies that are not Black owned, that are not as expensive, that may not tell you, they might not tell you a exact tribe, but they can tell you a region or a modern nation state. So there are tests that will tell you, yes, you're 23% of your ancestry we found matching people in Sierra Leone. And if that company doesn't give a certificate, and that company doesn't have a relationship with the people here, then I believe that it's going to be very difficult. In fact, we have a case where they put it on there that any company with certificate, and we had a commissioner of the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor in the United States of America who did not have an African ancestry DNA test result, but he did have a test result that connected him to Sierra Leone and to the Mende people. And we submitted it, and they rejected it. They told us, no, he has to have African ancestry, even though their policy says any company. African Ancestry has a MOU relationship with the government now. And they also have a licensed travel and tourism company now. Here in Sierra Leone. So as their people come, it appears that they're seeking to monopolize and control their whole consumer base, their customer base. And so I think that for us here, where we're representing a different kind of thrust, we'll find ourselves clashing at certain points in the future, I believe. Because the government is saying one thing, but then it's favoring only one company. And then those who are being favored are not calling it what it is. They're accepting it. It's almost like if me and you go to the nightclub and you forgot your ID card, but I got mine. And they tell me, well, you can come in, you got your ID, and tell you stay out. And I go in. Well, I think, why would I leave you outside? Like we came together. You know what I'm saying? So what's happening is that we're not coming together. We're just arriving at the same time. And so without people understanding it, these policies are coming out. So there were 22 then. I believe it was like 9 the first time. Then 22. And then that right now, I believe it's over 50. Our company was able to secure 2 people. But the rest went to separate groups of DNA testers. Dinah Samir's group, you know, he's been coming here for like 2 years, but he has a company now. So he's there now, right?
He's there now, right?
Yeah, he's here now. He's here now. But you know, people change up, man. But we can talk about that offline. He's here. Shavana Fraser's here, the sister who came and got the first with the group, the first get the citizenship. She's here. Foday Kunda's group is here. Brother who came back to the Timney group. Me and my wife actually first hosted him in our home, and we're the ones who connected him to his village. But like I said, we're only arriving at the same time. We're not necessarily coming together.
together.
And there's a difference in approach.
Yeah, understood. Well, we're gonna close out in about 15 minutes, bro. Yeah. But to probe this slightly, because first of all, is Sister Kenya there?
Yeah, Kenya.
Let's bring her in, so so that people can cite the Empress.
I'm gonna bring her in.
Yeah.
Who's coming? Okay, she's coming.
All right, no problem. So let's take her time. When it comes to this question, because this is a hot political issue among Africans in the diaspora, and I want, as somebody who's actually engaged in the work. By the way, shout out to Sister brother Obadele Kambon, in Ghana, who's trying to do some work with this as well. And there's our brothers and sisters throughout the continent who are doing work on this issue of citizenship, for whatever it's worth in terms of the modern day political structures. But we understand as Garviats, Pan-Africanists, that essentially we are still dealing with neo-colonial nations, right? So in this sense, right, a lot of people are making this citizenship issue a barrier to when and how they connect to the continent, the people of the continent, and do work here. Right. So I'm saying, so from your perspective, should the citizenship thing be a hindrance to us as Africans in the diaspora in terms of our work and our connection with the continent?
Not at all. I think that what we're seeing is we want a quick fix. We want everything at once. And I think that we don't need citizenship in order to do our work on the continent. Garvey said he's not sending expats. He said not expats, but experts. People going back with definite things to do for Africa. Maybe everybody's not coming back for that reason, but those of us who are, it's almost like we get drowned out by a lot of the nonsense. People like the drama and they like clout chasing, and we're not really into that. We're more into doing the actual work. You understand? But from my perspective, here's Kenya, man.
Yeah.
Hey, run it back run it back for Kenya so she can understand the context.
All right. So greetings, sis. How you doing?
Greetings. How you doing?
We're good. I never got the last one you said, sis. Sorry, come again.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good, sis. I can't complain. I'm very well. How are you?
Not bad. I'm good.
Good. I know you've been working hard, so thank you for joining us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and taking the time out. We truly appreciate your time, my sister. I was asking Chief Foday, your husband, in relation to the citizenship issue. A lot of people seem to want to make it whether they get citizenship or not the defining factor in when and how they make their connection with the continent. So I'm asking, should we make the citizenship or the lack of citizenship a hindrance, to our ability to work and connect with the continent and our brothers and sisters on the continent?
Well, I'll give you my own experience first in asking that.
Yes, sir.
I met a Sierra Leonean organization that I was a member of touring in 2007 in the United States of America.
Yes, sir.
For the next 6 years, I stayed connected to that individual and those groups and supported them as best as I could. I didn't have a citizenship then.
Right.
I didn't want one. It wasn't about that.
Yes, sir.
It was about Africa for Africans. It was about me playing my part because I know I had some advantages and I knew I could help out a lot with just a little bit. And so that ultimately led me to come in here because I wanted to get more involved with what I was doing, but I was too far away to be hands-on. Right. And so, I didn't come here like, yo, where my citizenship at? Yo, give me my citizenship. Nah, you don't need it. Chinese people don't have citizenship in order to come here and do what they do. Yes, these Europeans ain't got citizenships out here, man. These Lebanese don't got citizenships.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So to do what we need to do in terms of redemption work,
right?
Citizenship is not required.
Right.
Period. And then there's a pathway to citizenship that if you're actually doing the redemption work, it'll be even smoother because you're doing the redemption work. I think we can choose the country and serve it and get your naturalized citizenship any way you want.
Yeah.
Instead of just coming and accepting, oh, well, you took my ancestors away, give me my citizenship or I'm not coming back. Stay away with that mentality. But I will say I do understand it.
Yes, sir.
Because at one time in my own consciousness, I thought that everything had to be given to us now, and that it was something we was waiting to be given, not something that we was going to have to work hard for and produce for ourselves.
Yes,
and
sir.
so the liberty that we seek, the unity that we seek, is not something that can be given to us in the form of a passport.
Yes,
like
sir.
you said, these passports represent neo-colonies. These borders have to go eventually. You understand? These forms of nationality have to be transformed eventually. We have to have a greater Africa than these micro-states. And when that happens, because we're going to make that happen naturally. Our job today is to produce the generation that will finish it off, put the nail in the coffin. Because our ancestors have already positioned us to be light years ahead of where they left off at. You understand? And so I don't think that the citizenship is a necessity. I know it's not, because I've operated like that. And Kenya can explain, because she's still in the process of her citizenship.
Right.
And she's been here 5 years.
Yes, sir.
And as a resident and living and having no problem serving the people and having no problem getting love and being able to do business either. So she can tell you more.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
So just to answer your question, I mean, to get the citizenship is a beautiful thing, of course, but it's not necessarily required. I understand the reason why we would want it. Everyone, we're stolen children away from our homes, and if we can get it, then that's beautiful. But there's many different ways to obtain it. And Sierra Leone actually has one of the most smoothest, I would say, ways to get it. You literally, it only takes a handful of years. You're not required to stay here all year round. You can stay here part-time or semi-part-time and, conduct business and do whatever it is that you feel that you need to do to contribute to society, because Sierra Leone needs whatever help you're going to bring, whatever skills you have, they need them. This isn't like a vacation stay. As you stay here longer, after the tour is gone, you'll understand, like, man, the people need help. And so it'll look bad if you're building a mansion around people that's starving and dying. What would that make you?
Yes, yes.
But just to say, like, we demand it. And I love the fact that they're opening it up, because this has been a long process. This hasn't been easy. There's people who just got their citizenship. There's people who just got their citizenship over the last few. Okay, hold just a moment.
Yes, yes. Family, we're speaking to Sister Kenya, Mansaray, of the Gullah Leone Union and the Black Star Action Network International. Our brothers and sisters in Sierra Leone are doing some serious work on the ground, and we've been speaking to them about it for the entirety of this conversation. We give thanks. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
So I was saying that, the process has been a long process. There's people who just got their DNA results a few months ago who's stepping in and they're able to actually get a citizenship based off of work that we've been actually doing for years to bring this to the forefront. Yes, and then people try to discredit that as if that wasn't the process. There was nothing in place when we brought it to the table. And when we brought it to the table, it wasn't just about DNA. Yes. It was about the collective. We're Pan-Africans. We're Gullah Geechees. We know the contributions that Gullah Geechees have given to this country. There wouldn't be a Sierra Leone without us.
The Maroons,
different. Yeah. So the Sierra Leone is a collective based off of different people and different ethnicities, if you will, since that's what they're really basing the citizenship off of. Coming in and contributing what it is they have to build what we have today. So this is a continuum of what our ancestors did. And so it would literally be a disservice for those who are just waking up to the realization of who they are. You know, people that's Gullah Geechee don't even realize the connection that they have to Sierra Leone without the citizenship. We have a two-way connection, you know, so it's a beautiful thing when you really think about it. But to compartmentalize and pick us apart and say, okay, you're gonna get it and you're not gonna get it. It's dead wrong.
Yes,
it's dead wrong.
And you know what? Speaking of citizenship, the Gullah Leone Union has completed our first phase of a petition.
Right.
We are officially petitioning the Republic of Sierra Leone on behalf of Gullah Geechee people, people who are descendants of Gullah Geechees, to be able to have a process that we could go through as well to acquire our citizenship. That wouldn't necessitate that we have a DNA test, that we have a whole bunch of anything other than being able to verify that we are indeed Gullah Geechee people, because
who our ancestors.
we gave so much to this society for it even to be what it is. Even if it's still in a bad condition, there's good, bad, and ugly in everything. And our ancestors did contribute, regardless of how people feel about it. It happened. And so our ancestors, when they came back, of course, they left their siblings, their aunties, their cousins in America too, by force, separated. And we believe that it's time for that reunion to happen, that our ancestors came back so that they can create that way. So we have officially petitioned the government and submitted our petition with a letter directly to the head of state. And we are waiting now to see how best we can have a conversation about extending the citizenship rights to Gullah Geechees as well. And we will also say that the Maroons, the Jamaicans, should do the same. That the people of Barbados should do the same. That the people who have these unique connections to Sierra Leone. There's a people in Cuba that they call ganja, and they have a Sierra Leonean tradition. There's people in Trinidad and Tobago called the Americans, which are really Gullah Geechee people that was taken there after the war, 1812. And so there's like this big explosion. And so we are seeking citizenship on behalf of our community, but we also believe that this is a pathway that other communities should pursue.
Doing the same.
And at the same time, March 11th next year, March 11th, 2022, we will be commemorating the 230th year since the founding of Freetown here. We'll be organizing a trip, trying to get some Africans from different parts out here, maybe hold a little convention, and take it down to King Jimmy. King Jimmy is the location. King Jimmy is the location where our ancestors first returned. And we were just there earlier today, right?
Yeah, I was just there.
We was just there. And so we want to do something down there and honor the ancestors, man. Really like bring it to Freetown for celebration.
Well, I tell you what, bro. I'm putting it in the universe right now. That I'm gonna be with you. Next year.
Man.
You know, I say in March. For that thing. If not before, definitely then. We'll be together in Sierra Leone. We'll make it happen. Final question, family, and thank you for this year. Just give our viewers an idea of some of the things that you're going to be doing in a not too distant future. What are your immediate plans, and where people can stay in touch with the work of BSANI and Gullah Leone?
Okay, sure. Well, first of all, I'll give the information for where you can get in contact with us first and foremost. You can always go to our website, www.gullahleone.org. That's GULLAHLEONE.org. You can get to all of our information just from that one website. You'll be able to see what programs and projects we have going on. You'll also be able to have access to our Gullah Leone Development Fund, where we're now going into the phase of organizing our projects on a seasonal basis. Because in Sierra Leone, you have the rain season and the dry season. And so there's certain activities we need to do during the rain seasons. And then there's other activities that we can't do during the rain seasons and vice versa. So we're approaching it more scientifically now and trying to settle on our development fund, our funding, our fundraising. First and foremost, we have never sought or received a grant from any outside entity. We are fully supported by the resources of our members and even our allies. The UNIACL plays a heavy role in supporting us. There's times where we need just $30 more and Baba Senghor show up. Here it go. And so, it's very important to know that this is a collective movement. You may see Chief Foday and Kenya Malinke, but the reality is that I am because you are. We are collectively operating, and so you can always go there as well. Make sure that you go and go to that website. You can sign our petition there. You can even join the organization there. If you need assistance with your consultancy for travel, for relocation, for investment, you can reach us at gullahdugu.com, GULLAHDUGU. And these are just different platforms that we use so that things are compartmentalized and well organized. So we do our consultancies regularly. People are always reaching out for specific information. And for us, it helps. Every time we're able to gain a little bit of resources for the information that we exchange is very, very important, because then that helps us make our moves and sustain what we're doing here on the ground.
Yes,
and so definitely check out, again, GullahLeone.org. That's where I would send anybody. From there, you can find us anywhere. YouTube, you can find us at Gullah House Media. Gullah House Media. Okay, so to answer the rest, we do have our farming coming up. We're fundraising for the tools and seeds right now. We plan to finish our planting by the middle of, by African Liberation Day. We should be finished our planting. The rain season should be coming into effect. And then, of course, we have our harvest coming up in September. So all of those resources that we need for that is what we're fundraising for. We're also fundraising for our Money Roots One Fambo tour, the school tour. We sparked it today. We sparked our first tour today with a tour of Methodist school for the girls here. I think it had to be about 120, maybe 130 students.
Beautiful.
With the staff. They enjoyed themselves. It was great, but we was able to at least pass a cultural heritage message along with some hygiene tips. And that's what we're doing. So we have 24 more schools lined up. But then today we sparked it off. And so we'll be doing that as well over the next few months. So Tools and Seeds, the Be Clean campaign, since it's going to be raining, we'll not be doing no big mobilizations, but we will be doing the workshops in the schools. And the purpose for the workshops in the schools is to establish cultural clubs, cultural heritage clubs, so that we can begin this educational exchange with the schools directly around planting the seeds of knowledge of our history in our young students in this country. Many, many people don't know the basics of even Sierra Leone history. And so we're now getting involved in a way where we can be an asset directly in the schools and transferring information from the diaspora directly to the students. Our leaders, the students are our leaders. They're still young, they're still minors and still our babies, but they're our leaders because the future is theirs, it is not ours. Our job is to make way for them.
Yes, sir.
And so, yeah, man, we got a lot going on, bro. We got our virtual tours going, of course. And we just opened our headquarters, call it Gullah House. And it's located at the Afrikan Diaspora Village. And our office will be opened up from 9 to 5 days a week now. We're moving into a more higher level of organization. Beautiful. And what people can do is, first of all, you can always join. You can join the GLU or any of the organizations as an on-call volunteer. You don't have to pay first. You don't have to pay no dues. You can say, look, I got these skills and talents. You know, I know how to edit some video. You know what I'm saying? You know, I know how to make some flyers. You know, hey, I got a podcast. I got 50 people that listen to me every week. You know what I'm saying? Like, help us spread the word. You know, help us get more visibility so that what our message can spread. That's more what we beg and we plead for our people to give us the generosity of, is to come on board and help us spread our message. That's what I would say. You can catch me on Facebook, Mansa Foday Ajamu. I am the Paramount Chief of the Gullah Nation of North America community. I serve as the Executive Director for the organization, CEO for the Gullah Redemption Mission Sierra Leone here in Freetown, and the Executive Director for the Black Stars Network International. Combined, we are the Gullah Leone Union, and we are at Africa's service. It is not about Gullahs only, it's not about Sierra Leone only, but we do want the whole African world to know that here we have formed this unity and we embrace the rest and invite the rest to join us. In fact, yesterday, we visited the Maroon Church, the Maroon Methodist Church here in Freetown, St. John Maroons. And I have a message for the Maroons out there from the keepers of the church. The church needs some repairs, and it is the oldest church. It was founded here in 1800. The current location, they built their first structure in 1808, and then in 1822 they built the final structure. Their roof, the wood in their roof is literally made from the wood that they came over here on the ship. The ship wood. The walls of the church is limestone, and it's not painted. It looks like it hasn't been painted in 10 years, man. So they told us that even the 2 bells that was on the ship that brought them back are still the bells that they use in the church, and that the whole Maroon community that still survives here in Freetown that is connected to the church is still there, connected to the church. They've invited us to come in and assist them to maintain the church. And they asked us clearly, said, can you help us to reach out to our people out there? Because they know that as they built the Maroon Church, there was Gullahs already here, and they remember the Nova Scotians and the Maroons working together to build this institution anyway. So it is an institution that Gullahs or African Americans and Chihuahua Maroons formed together here in Freetown, in the heart of the city, in a place called Maroon Town. Right. So there's a whole Maroon Town in the heart of Freetown. Yes, sir. And they have an over 200-year-old church that if we don't intervene, it will fall to the ground. So I'm making that call to all my Jamaican brothers and sisters out there, especially the sovereign Maroons. Reconnect to the continent. The Gullah Leone Union is ready to reconnect with anybody out there that's ready to reconnect with Sierra Leone. It's many roots, one family.
Most definitely, my brother. Anything to add to this?
Well, I just want to thank you again for allowing us to grace your platform, and just being a brother of the struggle. It's always good to have others who are on the same path as you embrace you. So I'm really, really looking forward to you coming here to Freetown.
Most definitely.
We know we're gonna do it big when you're here.
Yeah, man, we're gonna do it big out here.
I look forward to it. Family, I appreciate you both. I appreciate all the brothers and sisters that are working with you, and I think that as it stands right now, you all are a guiding light in terms of actually putting boots on the ground, hands in the soil, and practicalizing the vision of our most eminent prophet, Marcus Messiah Garvey. So I'm humbled, and I thank you for the example that you're setting. And you know what I mean? I'm glad that I can just say, listen, if you want to see Garveyism in action, see it there, sir. And you know what I'm saying? And people can just look and see where it is and know where I'm going. So thank you for joining us. We truly appreciate, and get some rest because we know you've been working very hard. Love, family.
Oh yeah. Thank you very much, brother.
Love.
One God, one aim, one destiny.
One God, one aim, one destiny. Red, black, and forever. All right.
Forever.
All right, Kings and Queens. That you've been speaking to Chief Foday and Sister Kenya Malinke. Mansaray of the Gullah Leone Union and the Black Star Action Network into outer national. And so yeah, man, we appreciate them works there. So I hope you got something from that, you learned something from that. And yeah, man, it's been big, it's been major, beautiful conversation, and it's always good to connect with the motherland. We've tried to connect with the motherland a few times, on Quarantine Convos, and that may have been the first successful one. If I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm missing something out, like live connection. Yeah, that we spoke to somebody live on the ground. Am I underestimating the thing? Well, I think I'm correct, So yeah, we give thanks, family. We give thanks. We appreciate you all for tuning in, for commenting, and even the silent viewers. We appreciate you too, kings and queens. Tune in next week for more Quarantine Convos right here on Got Kush TV, Thursday from 7 p.m. We look forward to you joining us for that, kings and queens. Yeah, man, I'm not even gonna keep it too long because we're over time already. Yeah, but like out the video. Share it far and wide. Check out gotkushtv.com. Yeah, check out gotkushtv.com and sign up to the mailing list, kings and queens. Yeah, we encourage you to start to the mailing list to stay properly tuned. Yeah, if all things Got Kush TV, new shows, seasons even coming out soon. So do stay tuned. For further developments, and always remember, you ain't got nothing if you ain't got Kush. "2020, a year of many unforeseen challenges, where all had to adjust to a new reality. And despite it all, Got Kush TV was and still is here to serve you. And what a year it's been. We began the repatriation journey with our new show, Voyage to Motherland. We dropped the knowledge as you took your seats in the Kush Community and joined us to hold a meds with the Aunt Doc. Got Kush TV invited you to get involved in controversial conversation and enter the cipher. And when the world went into lockdown, we kept you connected with the Quarantine Convos. We kept our finger on the pulse of the community with coverage of the Reparations Rebellion and the Black Pound Day all dayer. Not to mention more wordsmith and a slew of new music video releases for your viewing pleasure, and the official launch of the Got Kush TV website. We also brought you events including Women of Power and, of course, Black Tricity. Now, in 2021, Got Kush TV is continuing to level up the thing. First up, we are pleased to inform you that gotkushtv.com is open to exclusive memberships. Sign up to any of our membership tiers and you will gain access to playbacks from all our events and an ever-growing list of exclusive original content, including interviews, documentaries, and shows such as Kush Community. To become an official member of gotkushtv.com, simply hit the membership tab. Stay tuned for continued updates. Then there's the new shows. Look out for more Decipher, Wordsmith, Hold a Meds with the Aunt Doctor, and weekly episodes of Quarantine Convos focused on health, wellness, education, and inspiration for our community. As always, the Got Kush TV film team is available for hire to cover all your events, adverts, infomercials, and all filming needs. Visit us at gotkushtv.com for hire inquiries and more information. Stand by all Black businesses through our website, social media, and show content. We have monumental advertising, sponsorship, and network opportunities catering specially for you. Check out the advertising page on gotkushtv.com for more information. Got Kush TV is in full flight to join us for the ride. There's 4 things you can do. Subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell to make sure you don't miss a release. Join us on all social media and hit up gotkushtv.com to subscribe to our mailing list and sign up to become a Got Kush TV member for exclusive opportunities in the near future. Let us know you are feeling our content by hitting that ever so important button of approval. Comment. We want to hear your feedback on everything we are putting out. So make sure your presence is felt in the comment section. Share. Spread the word by hitting that share button and exposing your circle to the magnificence that is Got Kush TV. We are looking forward to building with you throughout 2021 and servicing you with high quality Black media production. Got Kush TV, beyond discussion, beyond debate, we put the power in Black media.
Quarantine Convos. Enjoy weekly discussions with people from around the world, assisting us in dealing with this normal, mentally, spiritually, and physically. We feature nutritionists, psychologists, therapists, personal trainers, home educators, legal experts, and more, bringing you all the information and inspiration you need. Check out Quarantine Convos every Thursday from 7 p.m. live on Got Kush TV.